Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
Son of Richard Dreyfus exposes Kevin Spacey's most disgusting pedophilic act yet. Harry Dreyfus, the son of Oscar-winning Jaws actor Richard Dreyfus, revealed a disgusting pedophilic act that Kevin Spacey did to him, while his own father was in the room. Spacey's first accusation came from a 14-year-old boy who accused Spacey of lying down on top of him and trying to make moves on him while at a party. Harry Dreyfus described how he and his father were at Spacey's apartment to practice lines. Spacey started making moves on Harry. It took Harry a while to suspect what was going on because he had no idea that Spacey was a pervert. Besides, I thought, surely he can't be coming on to me like this right in front of my dad. But his hand stayed there. So after a bit, I came up with what I thought was a brilliant safety tactic. I stood up and walked to the other side of the couch, and sat back down. Bulletproof. But without missing a beat, Kevin stood up too, and followed me. He sat just as close and immediately put his hand back on my thigh, said Dreyfus. Over the course of about 20 seconds, centimeter by centimeter, Kevin crawled his hand from my thigh over toward my crotch. My mind went blank. Suddenly, he had completed his journey and now he had all of me in his hand. I stopped reading the script and my eyes went wide, said Dreyfus. I lifted up my head and faced him. Looking into his eyes, I gave the most meager shake of my head that I could manage. I was trying to warn him without alerting my dad, who still had his eyes glued to the page. I thought I was protecting everyone. I was protecting my dad's career, described Dreyfus. NFL legend exposes why Kaepernick will never play a game of football again. Looks like Colin Kaepernick is digging himself into a deeper and deeper hole. He is trying to sue the NFL, and despite that, no one in the NFL will hire him. NFL legend Tony Gonzalez explained why Kaepernick doesn't stand a chance of playing ever again. He's done. I don't think he'll ever get a chance. Never again. I just don't think he's good enough for the headache, said Gonzalez. More and more people are standing up to Kaepernick and the NFL. Legendary sportscaster Vin Scully just revealed why he is done with the NFL. I have only one personal thought, really. And I am so disappointed. And I used to love during the fall and winter to watch the NFL on Sunday. And it's not that I'm some great patriot. I was in the Navy for a year, didn't go anywhere, didn't do anything, said Scully about the NFL anthem protests. But I have overwhelming respect and admiration for anyone who puts on a uniform and goes to war. So the only thing I can do in my little way is not to preach. I will never watch another NFL game, he said. Do you think the NFL will pay the price for allowing Kaepernick and all these protesters to go so far? Pelosi gives shocking answer when asked if she will try to impeach Trump if Dems take House. In an interview with CNN's Jake Tapper, Pelosi was asked if she will try to impeach President Trump if Democrats win back the House. Democratic megadonor Tom Steyer recently launched a $10 million ad campaign calling for the impeachment of President Trump. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham says that if you and the Democrats take the House back in 2018, the first thing you will do is impeach President Trump. Is that true? Asked Tapper. No. I believe that whatever we do, we have a responsibility, first and foremost, to unify the nation. Second of all, you can't go down any path without the facts and the law. If that's there, perhaps it will come out in these investigations, responded Pelosi. It appears she is finally realizing how unpopular she is and is trying to win some people back. Or she is trying to trick Republicans into thinking she's not a threat. Or maybe she just knows she wouldn't be able to impeach Trump. The left of our party is still annoyed with me for not impeaching President Bush for going into Iraq. What could be worse than that? But the fact is that we've gotta really be saying what this election means to people in their lives. If somebody has some facts that come forth about President Trump, let the chips fall where they may, but it's not some place that I think we should go, said Pelosi. Trump is right. Watch Joy Behar shockingly defend President Trump against Senator Flake. Senator Flake went on a long rant insulting President Trump and revealed that he would not be running again. After the incident, Trump texted that the only reason he dropped out was because he had no chance of winning. The reason Flake and Corker dropped out of the Senate race is very simple: they had zero chance of being elected. Now act so hurt and wounded, tweeted President Trump. Joy Behar on The View interviewed Jeff Flake to find out why he wouldn't be running again. And it turns out, in Joy Behar's own words, Trump is right. I felt that I could not run the kind of race that I would need to run to be competitive. I could not speak out as I am now and as I have been over the past several months. There is no way you can become competitive in a Republican primary, and particularly in a state like Arizona right now, if you don't agree with the president's position or if you don't condone his behavior, said Flake. So in other words, Trump is right when he says and tweeted that the reason you dropped out of the Senate race is that you had a zero chance of winning. That you had an 18% approval rating. So, if you had a better chance of winning, would you have stayed? Asked Behar. If I could have run the kind of race that I'm used to running, if I could tell the truth, responded Flake. So you couldn't win with that, said Behar. Wow. You know you're in a bad place when Joy Behar is even willing to side with Trump to insult you. President Trump fed fish and CNN is furious about it. It seems like President Trump can't do anything without offending CNN. They twist every word he says and every movement he makes, and nothing makes it more clear than CNN's newest complaint about Trump. And it's even worse that their 2 scoops of ice cream article. President Trump met with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and fed fish in koi pond at Akasaka Palace. Abe threw food in, then Trump, then Abe. Abe then dumped the rest of his food into the pond. Trump did the same. So why are these irrelevant actions newsworthy? Trump feeds fish, winds up pouring entire box of food into koi pond, writes CNN. CNN wasn't the only one. Watch as Trump totally gives up on feeding fish in Japan, writes the Huffington Post. They are trying to play it off like President Trump did something wrong. Like he was supposed to feed the fish delicately, and because he is so out of control, he just poured the whole box in. However, when you watch the clip, he was clearly just following Abe's lead. As an aide clapped loudly, Abe and Trump tossed spoonfuls of fish food into the pond. Then, with a look of enjoyment, Trump quickly poured his entire box of food into the pond. The move got Trump some laughs, and a smile from Abe, who actually appeared to dump out his box of food ahead of Trump, writes CNN. CNN's Lemon says prayer can't help church shooting victims because they were already praying. One of the most absurd developments of recent months is the fact that, in the wake of the Sutherland Springs, Texas church shooting tragedy, liberals have been attacking conservatives for praying for the victims and their loved ones. Democrats have been so fixated on using the massacre to push their gun control agenda that they seem to have entirely blocked out the human component to dealing with grief. They also seem to have zero understanding of the value of prayer, just dismissing it as meaningless. One of the most reliable left-wing blowhards is, of course, CNN host Don Lemon, and he recently showed just how little he would get how regular Americans respond to tragedies. Lemon began his rant on his show by pretending that he sees the worth in prayer, saying, "Thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. Don't get me wrong. Prayers are important. They really are." He then somehow said that this is not about religion and declared, "So spare me the anti-religion tweets. You can keep them. I won't even read them. I don't care." Lemon then unbelievably claimed that prayer doesn't work, because the shooting victims were praying in church when they were murdered. He stated, "These God-fearing Christians were in church. They were already praying. Thoughts and prayers did not stop an oversight from the justice system which enabled a guy who attacked his stepson and assaulted his wife from getting a gun. This is false, since the error was actually made by the Air Force, but nobody corrected him. He went on, thoughts and prayers didn't stop a troubled person from buying assault-grade weapons that took the lives of 26 people in an instant. Lying through his teeth, he asserted that he is a firm believer in the Second Amendment, but then asked how many guns and of what caliber does one person need? He concluded, dismissing prayer, "So tonight, I hope you will join me in praying that our leaders will actually do something of substance and action this time that precludes another thoughts and prayers moment." Why are liberals so disrespectful toward practicing Christians? Joy Behar asks megachurch pastor about abortion, his answer surprises everyone. Carl Lentz, the pastor of a megachurch, went on to The View and was asked about abortion. Any good Christian should understand that life begins at conception and that murder is a sin, but it looks like there are more and more liberal people trying to lead churches. MSNBC regularly brings on liberal pastors who say very unchristian things, and it looks like Lentz is another one of those. "So, it's not a sin in your church to have an abortion?" asked Joy Behar. That's the kind of conversation we would have finding out your story, where you're from, what you believe. I mean, God's the judge. People have to live to their own convictions. That's such a broad question. To me, I'm going higher. I want to sit with somebody and say, "What do you believe?" said Lentz. "So it's not an open and shut case to you?" asked Behar. "Some people would say it is. To me, I'm trying to teach people who Jesus is first, and find out their story. Before I start picking and choosing what I think is sin in your life, I'd like to know your name," said Lentz. The ladies on The View must be proud of themselves.